pencil. What's up, everybody? AJDT family, YouTube subscribers, Discord members, welcome back. I know it's not Sunday night, but it sure is Monday night, and I'm super happy to be here waiting to see this market open up for us. Let's see, John already threw a comment in there. John Palladino, my brother, good to have you in there. Let me make sure I mute my TVs there so I can't hear myself yelling. There we go. John, tell me if you've got sound. I know we started it live and you just had the screen going for a minute, so tell me if you got it. Ooh, Ravi's in Asia. Check you out, my brother Ravi. Asia. All right, now you hear me. Perfect, perfect. Good. Well, let's see. We got a bunch of people in here already. That is awesome. And a couple likes. Thank you so much. So happy to have you all in here. Let's see what we got going on. I don't know what that is up there. That's kind of, oh, okay. There you go. FMR. We had somebody, Carmen, talking about FMR. FMRL? I don't know why I don't see that comment in there, but all good. Hey, Paulette. Welcome, Kentucky, Kentucky. It is so good to be back, and I hope my mic is working. Let me pull this a little bit closer. I think that might help a little bit if you guys are not able to hear me so well. But it is so good to be back. You know, it's been several weeks since I've been back, so I should say Happy New Year to the live because we haven't done one since before the holidays. I even had been traveling. Last week, I was in my semi annual law enforcement training, so I didn't get to do the live last week, but I was pumping out videos from the hotel. Just good all the way around. So let's kind of see what time is it. I know my clock is there. That's the time remaining. So 7:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the state of Florida. There's East Coast Kev. He bought 200 shares of Netflix at 88 bucks. There you go. Me too. Waiting on earnings. I've actually got about gosh, I want to say, let me see here if we can see it on here in my positions. You'll see I've got calls at 92 bucks. So I've been holding them for a little while. So we'll see how these calls do. And I think I have 40 of them. So I'm holding 40 calls. But let's see. Let's get back to the S&P 500. I'm guessing. Does anybody want to take a guess what we think is going to happen here? Gap up or gap down? Gap up or gap down? Throw it in the comments, everybody. Gap up or gap down? I'm thinking gap down. I hate to say that, but I'm thinking gap down. I think there's a lot of volatility in the market that we're going to see gap down. I even saw something a little bit earlier. Ravi had thrown something on the notes in the Discord and said about you know, the Fed chair and Trump is, you know, all kinds of stuff going on right now. And if there's some news and stuff you want to talk about, throw it in the comments because I'll be honest with you, I've been locked down most of the day today. Yeah, down, right? Yep, Paulette. Yeah. So, but what happens in a down market for us? AJDT, what do we do when the market's down? Talk to me. Throw it in the comments. I want to see what your thoughts are. What do we do? What do we do? And there's a delay, so I have to wait until you actually hear me like 30 seconds later. But yeah, so let's see. S&P 500, did we gap up or down yet? What do we got going on here? What do we got going on here? I'm going to switch up here. Oh my lord. No, I might not have a gap up or a gap down right now. We have looks like we got a little bit of a gap down, which obviously with the S&P 500, that's quite a bit of a gap down. I was doing some research on here, so you're seeing that. Yeah, we've got the gap down tonight. So there you go. There's the gap down. There it is. Not huge right now, right? Not huge. Let me go back to auto on here. There we go. Yeah. So we're a gap down night. Look at the size of this candle down here. I mean, wow. So what does that do for everything else we got going on, right? Let's go to the OG stocks. And by the way, for the AJDT fam, those of you who are still waiting for the best day trade list for January, I'm still working on a couple things because some of the stocks I'm looking at, you're going to be kind of shocked, I think, at what I share with you. But some of them are not tech stocks. They're not in the semiconductors. I've got some I've got some energy stocks and some things I've been really, really liking the trends on. And so I'm going to be throwing those out there. So that's why I'm a little bit more delayed. I wanted to get them out this weekend and I didn't. But yeah, so we're waiting. We also have, this is ugly right here though. I don't even like seeing this because this is APLD 3522. But you know what? I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset about that. I do want to see what Netflix is doing though, because Netflix on earnings. Okay, see, Netflix pumped. This I feel good about earnings. East Coast Kev, feel good. I think we're going to see something good on earnings. Tomorrow at market close, we get earnings results. I think it's going to be good because look, it dropped down 86.99. It pumped to 89.75, and the buyers are still in here, keeping it at level with where we closed the market. This is a very good sign for us for Netflix. And there's a lot of other things going on here, right? So, like, let's just kind of go down the list here. Not my watch list. Let's go back through the AJDT list. Tesla is down, obviously. It's going to be the same as SPY. So is AMD down. Nvidia is down. Yeah, a lot of these are down. This is pretty ugly. Palantir is going to be way down. Look at this. Look at this run down, right? And what were the futures doing? Oh my goodness, look at this. Everything's down. Everything's opening up down. Shenzhen's up. Should buy stock in Shenzhen. So anyway, like I was saying, was Ravi actually posted to the Discord members earlier about let me kind of pull this up about Jerome Powell and Trump's going after him and there's just so much going on with that news that we had a feeling it was going to cause the markets kind of go a little crazy. Yeah, Powell to attend Supreme Court arguments on Trump's attempt to fire Fed governor. Yeah, so a lot of stuff going on in there. But anyway, now that we know it's down, this gives us a bottom up. So depending on what it does overnight, right, is really what we want to see. Man, look at Palantir. You don't call it dumping because obviously I'm looking at a 15-minute chart, and you can't really call that dumping, but it pretty much spent the day on Friday, and now here we are. It's going to be Tuesday morning, um, at a bottom. So, and this sucks because this is my retirement stock stuff right here. Palantir. Every time I look at Palantir, Robinhood, same down. IREN pulling back and down, and that's a bummer too because IREN had such incredible flow. Look at the daily on IREN. Now, depending on what it does tomorrow, right? I know you. None of you will understand my geometry lesson I have going here, but I do this thing where I in essence calculate the down, I calculate the up. I draw the triangles in between to understand what could happen with it, depending on where it goes. And it's Iron's been on a clear uptrend for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days, almost 12 days. And I don't think this is going to end yet. Just because it's pulling back tonight, I don't think it's going to end. We still got a lot of good meat on the bone here. APLD, same, right? Look at it on the day. I mean, it pulled back a little bit, right? It's consolidated. It had a good day Friday. So, now we have to wait and see if we're going to have a red candle or a green candle. But I still think there's a lot of meat on the bone for APLD also. SMCI, let's go back to the 15. Look at this for SMCI. Wow, pulling back hard. Everything's pulling back hard. Yeah, you can say the market is having a tough time right now. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. This is not the best of what we want to see, but it is good for me because I'm gonna tell you all right now. Tomorrow morning when I wake up in the morning and I start to do some charting, and I know I've got some charts to provide to a few of our Discord members. Um, I think Ravi's asking for SMCI. We'll take a look at that right now together. Maybe we'll do the box strategy around SMCI. Um, and actually, we can get some levels on SMCI too, but also SEG, SEGG, which is actually a penny play, and it's less than $2. So sitting at $1.26, and we can't really do a whole lot with this one right now because of the fact that it's not a 24-hour stock. So we're not going to do any charting or levels on that. I think it was Lynn, Baby Bull, was asking for that one to be charted out. I'm going to chart that out for you and send that tonight for you to take a look at tomorrow morning, the levels. But we'll look at SMCI together. So let's go back to SMCI for a second. Let me see. Let's go to SMCI. Yeah. Ugh, nasty. $31 drop. Basically sitting here on these two candles. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Two candles right here that were totally indecisive. Just flat out doji candles. Yeah, Lynn. Yep. So I'll get you seg. I'm gonna do APLD. I'm gonna do levels on APLX. I'm gonna do levels on Netflix. I'm gonna do levels on Nvidia. I'm gonna do levels on the SPY. I'm gonna do my levels on Celsius, because Celsius is still very well holding. Very happy with Celsius. Let me go to Celsius here and show you what Celsius is doing. So, but Celsius is a 24-hour stock, and look at that drop down. This is ugly. Look at the RSI. Wow. 28. Way oversold right now. Way oversold, right? So, all right. Well, we're going to see what happens. I'm not going to stress out about this because I'm not in a whole lot. I'm in a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't really affect me what's going on tomorrow. So what you really need to do, honestly, I don't think we can do it here now. But what you should do, and I don't know that I can even bring this in here, but let me see if I can do it. I might have just messed something up. You can still see me, but let me see if I can bring this over. Let me see if I can bring this over. No, I don't think that's going to work. All right, we're not gonna do that. But right now, what I'm showing as of January 15th, and I'll just share it with you, is utilities. Number one, utilities was up over a full percent. Industrial up almost a percent, 0.92. Real estate up 0.75. Information technology 0.53. And you're not able to see that because you know it's you're not able to see it because of where I have it on the screens. Haven't quite figured that out yet. So let's get off that for a minute. Let me get off that. Let me see if I can pull this back up. Okay, there you go. Anyway, so what's happening in the news? Anybody have anything they want to drop in the news that you want to talk about, you want to share? Throw it in the comments. Let's do box strategy on SMCI while we're doing that. And then we can look at some other ones together. Let's see. All right, let's go back to SMCI. We're going to pull this over. We're going to go to the 30-minute. We're going to go ahead and there we go. All right, so interesting, right? Look at this. All right, so we're going to go ahead and build our box strategy. For those of you that's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here. And we got a bunch of people live, so thank you so much for being here. I'm going to show you how I do my box strategy. This is one of my main strategies I use every day. Obviously, you have to understand your support and resistance levels. You have to understand the candlestick patterns. You got to know which candlesticks are doing what when there's potentially a turn. I do use the RSI. You can see the RSI on here with like, look at the gap down, solid drop, but it's funny because it's almost like auto correcting from the day prior. And, we had this amazing pump on many stocks, including SMCI. And let's see here. Let's get rid of that. Let's go here. So we had, let's see, 29.60 was the low for the day Friday. 32.98 was the high. So that's pretty good. Nice little pump for SMCI. But now we're going to do the box strategy. And so, like I said, if you're new, thanks for being here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're interested to be part of the AJDT Discord, then go ahead down below in the description and click the link that takes you to WAP, and you can get signed up and be in there with us. And get a lot of what everybody's looking for is the levels. A lot of what I'm posting in there about the levels that we use for scalping. We use for day trading, intraday trading. So box strategy basically is what you do is you're going to take trend lines. We're going to take a horizontal line here. We're going to take the high okay, of the prior trading day, which is Friday. And it's going to be a little bit interesting being that we've been off pretty much for 3 full days. And then you're going to get the low of the trading day. Okay. So it's kind of like you think of the ORB, um, the opening and closing levels. But this is the low, this is the high. Now, on the box strategy, you're not looking at really anything else. You're not looking at 5 days. I like to look at a 5 day, 30 minute to get a trend, right? I want to see how it's doing. This obviously stock that had been sort of on a downswing and now it's back on a up over the last 3 or 4 trading days. That's because the market's been playing green, and that's why you have a lot of up. But box strategy simply is on the last trading day. And so I've set my low, I set my high. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the box itself. Whoops, go over here. Come on. There we go. I'm going to take my box and I'm from the low point to the high point. So a lot of times I do it straight from the high of the stock and I'm going to pull down and I'm going to come over here to the low of the stock and I lock it in. All right. Now, because I started here, it's already running forward, which is totally fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this back, okay? And then we're going to pull it all the way forward. So we're going to go this way. And it actually is already super extending itself through many days. So that's totally fine. We can work with that. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull this down a little bit. And then once you have the box set, what you have to find is what I like to call the median. I like to call the middle point. I like to call where the stock potentially support and resistance level is for the box strategy. So let's say, um, what is this bottom here? Is 29.60 to 33, right? So you're talking $1.40. I'm sorry, $1.40. Wow. It's 33. So it's basically $3.40. So you're going to take $1.70 and $1.70 is your midpoint. So 36.30 is going to be my mid. So I'm going to grab another line. And maybe my math's right. Maybe my math's not. It's okay. We're going to make that line yellow since that's our center. And I'm looking at comments just to make sure if anybody has anything, throw it in there. But let's go here. Let's go to the settings. And 3170. That's or 3070, 3070. 3070 is our midpoint, right? That's not even true. That's how bad my math is right now. That's what I get for being off a few days. We're just going to come up here, 3140. All right, 3140. We'll call that about center. And what actually works out perfectly for that being somewhat center is because look how it actually was using it right here as a support level before it launched up in Friday's market day. Well, now it dropped and pegged past it, but it's back up here now, right? So we're not necessarily down here. Oh, excuse me. Boy, can't get the yawners out of me. My brain needs oxygen. I actually got up and started this morning around, oh, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And got out of the house, had some meetings, took from the house. I got out rolling, had to head to a few places I needed to go. And then my oldest son, who may even be watching this right now, laying in bed with 101 fever. He had 104 fever, and he's not a baby by any means. He is my wife's baby, one of our babies, but is home with his wife, not feeling the best. Got some sort of a flu virus thing going. So we ran over to bring some food, some quick, easy dinner, so that our daughter-in-law would not have to try to prepare or cook anything, and they're gonna get a quick meal. So we did that. So I just got home literally an hour ago. Had dinner with my fam here, my wife and my 2 other boys, and my 18-year-old got some new tattoos done today, and one of them actually represents me, which is a huge honor. So I went and to the tattoo shop with him to kind of check that out and see how that's going. So it's part of a wild ride day today. But so if I'm yawning a lot, I'm sorry. I was going to bring a Celsius in here with me and I didn't think about it. But anyway, 3140 is the center line. So now here's what we're doing in this box strategy. For those of you that actually were paying attention to the box strategy. Um, so what you wanted to do is you wanted to hold above overnight this yellow line. We don't necessarily want to see it drop below because this is going to be used and act as a support level. Well, if it does break down through here, then we don't want to see it break down through this bottom support level, which is the, what did we say this was here? 2960. All right. So in essence, we really don't want to see it break through here. Otherwise, it's going to continue in this downward trend into the pre and probably the regular trading market. So that's how I judge my box strategy. But also I can tell you that if it's up here now and it's above, so if it holds and it stays up here, then I'm looking for that continued uptrend towards this 30 32.98, we'll call it $33 to break through it. And hoping that's what SMCI does tomorrow because it was on this very, very nice run, for a few days where it's in this uptrend. You can see my levels are already there, my lines, but it kind of leveled out down here 3 days ago. So last Wednesday, Thursday, it kicked up. It's not real pretty, right? Here, let me go back to auto on this. It's not real pretty, but it was indecisive. And then it told us it wants to be green. And then we had this monster major day, which obviously is going to fill the box strategy because that is the box strategy. Now we want another day like this where we get back above it and run. All right, let's see. So, got a question from Blazing Samuel. How do you like stocks to day trade next day from S&P 100 or selected 10 stocks, which you look at every day? So, all right, I'm going to try to decipher the question you got going for me here. So what we do as AJDT group, as the Average Joe Day Trader group, our Discord, even you all as subscribers, I build out the AJDT Best Day Trade Stock List, right? So that Best Day Trade Stock List, I also have built as a watch list for me. And what I do pretty much just to have an understanding, this is right now, even though I am in the process of getting ready to put out a new list with some different stocks on there. Right now, yeah, and Ravi, I will send you the levels. All right, I'll send you the actual complete levels here tonight once we're done with this live. I need to sit on the couch and do some more charting on some other things I'm looking at too. So I promise I'll get that to the Discord. But I go to this list. All right, Blazing Samuel. So I've got Tesla, AMD, Nvidia, right? You can go down the list here. You can see them on the screen. But this is the AJDT Best Day Trade list. And I follow this list every day. Every night I go and look to see how it closed. I'm looking at the overnight market to see how they're doing. Like we'll go to Tesla, for example, and we're in Tesla. That's the daily. I go to 15 minutes and I want to see how it did. And obviously it's down and it's continuing on a downtrend, which is kind of a bummer, but for most stocks. But I'm watching it in the 24-hour market and then I want to see what it does pre-market. And I know a lot of people, especially brand new traders, brand new investors, day traders, intraday traders, swing traders. I kind of warn you to be very careful in the 24-hour market and the pre-market because there's a lot of volatility, even though it's very low volume. And what you have to understand is like certain stocks, look, we got a green. Certain stocks will run up in the pre-market because what's happening is, especially tomorrow, you're going to see a lot of very unusual volatility and unusual volume in the morning. Because what most people don't know is like APLD, for example, at about 8 o'clock, it'll go nuts. You'll just see the ticker start kicking like crazy. Volume will kick in, and you'll see, basically the bar, the candle just start bouncing up and down, and it's almost like whoa, let me back away from this thing so I don't get hurt. Why is it doing that? And then it'll do it again at 8:30. and then potentially at 9. And so you would say, like, well, that's pretty cool. It's almost like a half hour trend, right? So every half hour, it's going to do something. Well, what's actually happening is, and many of you have learned this being in the Discord with me, is that most everybody is on some sort of different type of brokerage account, right? Like this is my Webull account. I live in my Webull account. I use TradingView for a lot of my charting. I use TradingView, for to kind of understand different things that I have based on, my uh, what do you call it? Where I put my blah 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 blah, my indicators, right? So I have different indicators I use, and that shows me different things on TradingView that I don't have on Webull. So I use Webull, but many people have Fidelity, SoFi, Moomoo, E Trade, Robinhood, right? There's so many platforms out there that you can trade on. That what ends up happening is that at about 8 o'clock in the morning, some of those brokerages open up to allow people to trade. They don't allow you to trade 24 hours or overnight, but then they allow you to trade pre market, but not early pre market. You got to wait till 8 a.m. So then when those open up, well, all the orders for buying and selling kick in. So it causes the stocks to bounce and pop up. Then at 8:30, it happens again. And so it makes certain stocks look like superheroes because they may go from like, like right now, Tesla could be here and then boom, it pops up. Boom, it pops up. Boom, it pops up. And you're thinking like, oh my gosh, pre-market's on fire right now. Right. And then the marking bell opens up. We get to that point where we hit the bell and it dumps. And you're like, well, what just happened? Well, now the retail investors and the hedge funds and the institutions and everybody's hot and live with Wall Street. And so that's usually what happens. So um, I would say, Blaze and Samuel, there's, I think, 20, 21 stocks in this list right here. To give you a top 10, for me, they change about every couple days for me personally. Um, but the solid ones that trend right, that you can make money in every single day, are the AJDT best day trade list. And like I was saying, I'm going to release that. I'm going to finalize that one probably tonight and get that released soon. Discord always gets it first, so they get a chance to hash over, take a look at it, and then when the rest of you jump in and start buying like crazy, we get the same benefit of the pump and the bump up when you're all in there with us buying. So, gonna release that and get that going. But S&P 500, I love the S&P 500 only because of in essence its flow, and I have been really very focused on the S&P 500 during the regular trading day. Wow, look at that. So it went down, and you even have in the 24-hour market, the buyers are kind of stepping in trying to buy some of this dip right now. And that's okay. If you have an account where you can buy stuff and it allows you to trade over the 24-hour market, buy the dip. It's interesting because there's a gentleman who actually he probably lost a lot of money tonight. He has a strategy where he buys a bunch of stocks every night, and on Friday night. And awesome. Thank you, Jesus. Just found out my oldest son's fever is finally broken. Obviously, we've pumped him with some medications, Tylenol, some stuff from the doctor, and all that, which is all obviously helping with that to get that down. But that is great news. So thank you, Lord. But anyway, um, he buys Friday night when the market, right before the market closes, okay, before the 8 p.m. bell. I would call them bells. He buys a bunch of stuff because, the majority of time that Monday morning or Sunday night, I should say, the 8 p.m. or the Sunday Night Live that we do live, try to do lives on, it always gaps up. And he makes money that way. And he says he doesn't even trade the regular market anymore. He buys Friday night and sells sometimes Sunday night or waits for Monday morning, depending on the trend. And a lot of times, if it's a gap up. Now, for me, seeing a gap down like this, I think we're going to see potentially the continuous move up now through the night. But that doesn't mean anything for the market bells, everybody. So please be careful. Let me see. There we go. All right. So I don't really know if I answered your question, Blaze and Samuel, but I can tell you that the AJDT Best Day Trade Stock List is the way to go. I have multiple stock watch lists in here. I do want to kind of put, you see all my watch lists on here. I mean, like it's to nauseum, and I totally get it. But I have everything broken up the way I need it, right? So here, so like for example, SoFi runs. These are the ones that trail with SoFi. Now I usually compare everything to the SPY, although this is SFY. This is actually a SoFi Select 500 ETF, and then you have SFYF, which is a social, and then you have the um, standard SoFi, and then SFYX, which is the next 500 ETF. So they work against each other. When one's up, one's down, and that's how they work. And I have a lot of them like that. I have Nvidia plays. I have Nvidia plays. So Nvidia has a ton of different stocks and ETFs and 2X's, 3X's. All right. And some of them are 24 hours, some are not. But, Nvidia is significant amount. Um, and then I have the Nvidia drives these because Nvidia drives many of these stocks. See, I got APLD in there because Nvidia is a huge owner of stocks. But anyway, and then I have all the different semiconductors that are in here. So you got to create your watch lists. You've got to create some watch lists. The one I would tell you should be looking at right now is because of defense is the Sky list, right? The Sky list is basically everything relating to defense and drones. So you see, I got AMPX, which is the lithium battery company, DPRO, Dragonfly, Archer, Joby. They're all in here. UAVS, which is aerial, Age Eagle Aerial. I have all these different stocks. ONDS, which is a best day trade stock. All right, Katos, an Israeli defense company. So you have to create yourself some watch lists of the ones that you see the best. So, Blazing, I don't know if that answered your question, but I hope I kind of hit it at least close. All right, cars and coffee with Raul. Hey, Raul, what's up, brother? How do I see APLD doing this week? All right, so good question. Let's go to APLD. Here's what I'm going to tell you about APLD. And I'm going to ignore this because, see, for me on APLD, this doesn't mean anything. This means tomorrow morning, and look, it already hit 34.99. It's already back up this way. For me, APLD is a unicorn, right? You don't get many chances that often at seeing a unicorn, if ever. Never. You're never going to see a unicorn. I hate to break it to everybody. And by the way, Santa Claus is not real either. But a unicorn stock like APLD is an incredible stock. And the thing about APLD is, I don't know if anybody saw the video I posted last week, but I did find that, see, I've got an AI algorithm that runs for me, and I set it up to basically tell me anytime APLD is mentioned in Louisiana and to search any filings and everything through public records, through the court systems, through the stock exchange, everything related to APLD where it references Louisiana. I wanted to know about it. And my algorithm hit for me last week. I was super excited. I did a quick video about it. But in essence, APLD opened a new LLC, a new APLD LLC in Louisiana. They did it with an online firm that creates them online. And the word on the street is they're going to break ground by the end of the month on their fourth data center, which is in Louisiana. Now, there were a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation about that. So where I see it right now, Raul, is uh, I see it pumping more. But here's the thing about it. I think we have an opportunity if we can get past whatever's going on right here and all this nonsense about Greenland and all this stupid stuff that's happening in the media and whatever. If we can get past a lot of that and back to what was happening, which was this very nice uptrend. All right, but we are bull flagging here so you can see it. So if it does tomorrow close lower, I think we're going to hit this level here on my bull flag and then pump. So I think ultimately we're going to have some good day trading opportunities in APLD like we do every day. It's definitely going to be down in the morning. So great opportunity to buy it. Will it pull down more is the only question. And I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not confident enough right now in the market to say for sure, no way or yes way. But I do believe that at some point we're going to see a pump back up. And then we're going to see a pullback. So I think $30 to $32 is on the table. I don't really believe it's going to break that $30 range. I've been wrong before though, but I don't think it's going to break that $30 range. I think we're going to stay above $30. If it gets into the high 29s, okay, but I think it's going to stay around $30 and then it's going to run um, you know, up towards 40 and probably break through 40. Where do I see this thing in 6 months, a year is probably the better question. I will just tell you that I believe that we're going to see it at, 45, 55. If this Louisiana news finally breaks the way I think it's going to, and it'll be a catalyst, we're easily going to see 55. My opinion, not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice. Don't buy anything because I say so. Um, I believe 55. And then ultimately, I think that by year end 2026 towards 2027, we see $100. So I really am that confident. I'm still very strong as a bull for APLD. And I absolutely believe that to be true. All right. Yep. Saw that video of yours. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cars. Cars and Coffee with Rahul. All right. Now I'm thinking, is that Antonio? Is this Antonio? Is that who this is? Cars and Coffee with Raul? I think it's Antonio. Another one of our Discord, new Discord member, just with us as of last week. So 35-ish looks a good buy because I think it held very good support at 35 last week. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I kind of agree that 35 is sort of where we need to be. I'm going to be watching this for the morning, but I'm going to shift gears on APLD again now because I do believe we're getting that pump. And I'm going to go back to, and it's the same tracking, same charting, exactly the same, but I'm going to be in APLX. So APLX, and I had told many, many, many people in the Discord subscribers, 100%. I started yelling about APLD back to you at this turn, which is what, about $47, right? I told everybody, I said, when APLD gets back to $40, APLX is going to hit 180. All right. And that was the high at 180 bucks for APLX, which is a brand new 2X long. I mean, it's been going since, September 9th, but it's still relatively brand new. I mean, just look at these peaks and valleys. It's beautiful. Beautiful how it does this. I hate when I grab on my lines and I don't have them locked. So um I think it's going to pump for sure, 100%. Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Cars and Coffee with Raul, man. Thank you for the plug. Yeah, I could make ABLD videos all day, every day. Seriously. And so everybody knows it's in here live. We still got a bunch of people in here. I do have, it's my wife and I celebrating our 15-year wedding anniversary. We are a blended family. My wife and I have been together in this marriage 15 years, celebrating it in February. So we are taking a trip to an undisclosed location, and we're just gonna have an awesome time together, just my wife and I. Uh, you know, my my boys will be here taking care of each other. Most of my boys are now adults. Um, my youngest is 14. He's my technical engineer. He's the one that sets us up on all this. So yeah, we are going to be out of town. So by sharing that is that you're going to see a bunch of videos released that week. Every day, just about every day, there'll be another video release, and I'll be live in the Discord with the Discord members. I'll probably have my computer. I'll be doing some AM early day trading, while my wife catches up on beauty sleep. Not that you need any beauty sleep, my love, but I usually get some day trades in first thing in the morning and spend some time with our Discord members. But the videos will be released, will be all training videos that we're putting out there. Thanks, John. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So there'll be a lot of training videos that'll be out there. Day trading for beginners. I got a video on DCAing, dollar cost averaging, because that was a big conversation for us 2 weeks ago into last week. Um, with one of our new members, subscribers, I had to ask some questions. I put a video out. I've got a video on for brand new beginners, day traders, about using paper trading first. It's not stupid to do that. It's smart to do that. But I noticed recently a lot of people, when they use paper trading, you're given an account with $1 million fake dollars in it. You're buying stocks, for $500,000 and making money at it, and thinking you can be wildly successful. So then you go to real money, and obviously you don't have, you're not, hopefully not trading $500,000, but it's very different when you're using your own real money. So we'll see what we'll see what happens with that. But ultimately, I'm making a video just about paper trading because I believe in it very much so that anybody brand new should do it. And I also believe that if you have some bad or some poor success in paper trade, in regular trading, all right, then what you need to do is you need to go back to paper trading for a couple weeks and put your money aside, get in paper trading, try to understand your own strategy. What are you doing wrong? What are, analyze your trades. What are you doing wrong that's causing you to lose? Because you go a couple days with losses, then and you get out and you shut the computer down, you put the phone away and all that for that day. When you come back to it the next day, the psychology of it still kind of messes with you, and a lot of people end up in essence, 24-hour later revenge plays. You're trying to get your money back on the SPY. You're trying to get your money back from BBAI, whatever it is. And so I'm going to do a video about paper trading and the benefits of that. But even myself, sometimes I'll take a day and I'll use paper trading and just kind of play around with some strategies, some things I've been looking at to see if they're going to work before I actually put my hard earned capital to work for me there. Because nobody likes to lose money, right? And that's the truth is you shouldn't have to. Well, thank you, John. Thank you, Paulette. Really appreciate that. Yes, very exciting, and I'm very excited about having some time off from really literally everything except for this. This is such an amazing passion and love to be part of this family, the Discord group, the AJDT subscribers, being able to post videos, be educational, try to help you learn as I learn myself. I love this. I really do. Really praying that this becomes something more than just, I wouldn't call it a side hobby. It's definitely a almost part-time to full-time job now for me, but hoping that it does turn into something that blesses my wife and I, our family overall down the road, long term, and that we just continue to crank out the subscribers, get people in the Discord, etc. So, all right, so still see we got a good amount of people in here. So let's see, let's look at the chat, see if there's anything else in there. How about we do another box strategy? If anybody wants to see box strategy, let's do Netflix box strategy. This is a big boy stock. Let's do this on a Mag 7. So we're gonna go to 30 minutes here. And look what Netflix is doing. It's up here. Oh, so happy to see that. Carlos, I hope you're watching. My brother-in-law, I hope you're watching this, buddy. We were both talking about over the weekend Netflix and what do we think it's going to do. 90 cents up from its close on Friday. Very, very happy. Very happy. So let's go ahead and chart this one. Let's do the box strategy on it. Even though we're already broken out of this, we're still here. So let me see. Never done a 2-day strategy because I don't know if that works or not. So we're going to stick with the regular routine box strategy. So I'm going to do it the way I normally do it. And I'm going to show you what I do first is we go ahead here. We're going to go ahead and get our box. And like I was saying, I'm going to start from the highest point of the market the day prior to the lowest point, which is actually here. This is my lowest point right there. All right. And it's great. I don't even need to pull it over. I must have the settings so it just automatically runs. But you see, we're already out of our box strategy. So that's why this doesn't really work because we've already defeated the box strategy. But the reason why I'm building the box strategy for you and myself is because there's always a potential in the overnight hours this thing pulls back into the box. Well, now I want to know, right? I want to know what those levels are. So I'm going to hit a line here. I'm going to hit a line there. I'm going to pull that one down a little bit, get evened off. All right. And now I know I've got 88.65 and 87.78. I'm not even going to try to do the math on it, but it's about $1.07, whatever it is. So we're going to put it at $1. We're going to take another level and we're going to go here. Boom. And 87.78. And half of that. So it was about 50, let's say 55 cents. So 78, 98, 08, 18. Yeah, so we're not too far. Let's just go here. Let's just make it 20. We'll call that middle for now. All right. I'm gonna make this one yellow. I'm gonna make this one yellow. All right. And now we know the mid range. So you can see this is what's interesting on the box strategy here. Um, Look, it just broke back into the box. See, on the 30-minute, the 30-minute candle wicked below the top of the box, which is now a support level. So what you're hoping for is that it holds above through the night to continue going. Netflix. If it wicks down and it keeps going, and this candle closes lower, then it's going to head south. And now we know this would then be the level of support we have. So we'll keep our eye on it. But in essence, that is the simplicity of the box strategy. All right. You want to play it up and play it down. Now, if you're an options trader, you can play it down all day long or up all day long. If you're shares, buying common shares, you want to wait for it to get up and break out. All right, let's see. Mano Seth, APLD CEO sold 165,000 shares post rewards on 1/16/26. Interesting. Interesting. APLD director Richard Nelmer sold 23,606 shares on 1/15. So there's some liquidation going on there. I wouldn't stress about that. I don't freak out about that. They're probably sold those shares. Obviously, they're knowing something we're not knowing, that it may be pulling back. We'll see. I don't think so though. They did just pull a lot of capital out of their they have like that bank account, excuse me. They have like that um base of their credit that they're able to use money that was given to them as an investment, which they just pulled a bunch of that out for some other investments. Well, I think Louisiana is one of them. So I wouldn't stress about that. Let's see. Director Douglas Miller sold 10,000 shares on January 12th, 26. Well, yeah, I mean, like everybody's taking profit and putting it back to work for them. And you know what they're going to do is you're going to see that if it drops some, they're going to buy back in and they're going to buy shares lower again. That's not really uncommon. Um, and that also it's all past January, right? So there was a bunch sold off before the end of the year for tax harvesting, and then they probably bought a ton and now they're selling it off again. I don't know what that is. That's interesting. Where are you pulling that information from? Throw that in the comments if you can. Manoj Seth, 1817. Tell us where you see that information because I have a pool I pull that from too. But I'm interested to see where you pull that stuff from. All right, let's look at the S&P 500 one last time here before we shut this down. And I'll tell you what I'm going to go do. I'm going to be doing some charting. I'm going to be doing some homework for us tonight. Yeah, so it's down here 683.82. It's holding. It did give us a green, another little baby green. So we'll see what the market does overnight. But I am going to be sitting on my couch and I'm going to be watching the Indiana University of Miami game, which is happening right now. We're about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so or half hour into it. And it is 8:44 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to be watching that game. And I don't really know who I want to win. I mean, I know I'm from South Florida, not from South Florida. I'm from originally from up north, New York area. But I'm here in South Florida, so we follow the Dolphins. We follow the Florida State Seminoles, Go Noles. But a very good friend of mine is the head of security for the coach for University of Miami. So we always watch the game so we can see him running out of the tunnel with the coach, which we got to do tonight as well. I don't know. I would like to see. I really, honestly, I think Indiana needs a win. I mean, they deserve it. They're an incredible team. They haven't had a win. University of Miami's been to the championship before, and I know a lot of people, if you're from here, are probably mad at me for saying that, but I like an underdog story. What can I say? I like an underdog story. All right. Well, anyway, I think we're going to wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are doing incredible. Thank you so much. We have over 10,000 watched hours on this YouTube channel, which is an absolute blessing and incredible. We've got about 1,981 subscribers so far. So there's Antonio Mays, my brother. Yeah, we got a date, Antonio. You and I need to spend a little bit of time together so we can talk about charting levels. So you can take that back to that financial church group that you're working on, that you're working with. We need to set up for a one-on-one. All right. Yes. Amen. So God bless you all. Thank you so much. Have an amazing night. For those of you new, hit that subscribe, like, notification bell. Almost 2,000 subscribers. I really want to hit 2,000. It'd be nice to see that. And just praying for you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow morning in the Discord. We're gonna see what this market does, right? But that's it. That's all I've got. So I'm gonna hang for one more minute on here to see if any other comments come up here in the chat in case there's any final notes. But aside from that, have an awesome night. Thank you. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Josh out. Peace.